But the first thing I'd like to do is do a song, just as part of our welcome and invoking right spirit and mind for the evening. And then I'll just say a few brief words and we'll have an awesome evening with Lucinda and John.
Always with every gathering, we must remember that the divine must be at the center of everything that we do, everything we are, every action or inaction. And even tonight is no exception, that these candles represent the light and who or what the divine is to each of us. That we, with Stuart's words and song, and in our own hearts, our own songs, bring ourselves to the place of acceptance and greetings of the divine light in this room and in our gathering and in our hearts. O greatest good, O deepest mystery, dwell with us this evening as we talk about God. Embrace us with your love and fill us with the grace of connection, of embrace, and of love. A great mystery. Welcome us as we welcome you. Ho Om. Amen.
Welcome everybody, and thanks for making it. This is going to be a very cool evening, one that I've been looking forward to ever since we first spoke on the phone. Months ago, or it may even be a year ago at this point, a book mysteriously showed up at my house, and we still don't know how or who sent it. It was in an anonymous package, and this is what it was. And so my curiosity was piqued. I said, books about God being sent to me by an anonymous source. It's very cool. So I looked into God in all worlds a little bit and eventually ended up getting in touch with Lucinda in the interest of speaking with her for Integral Naked. And it turns out that there were ties and connections already in place before we spoke. If you haven't had a chance to check out her dialogue that went up on Integral Naked, it's up as of this Monday and will be there in perpetuity as long as the web exists. It's very cool. some of the particularly compelling aspects of Lucinda's work to me include her knowledge and focus of the feminine in our experience of the divine, which is part of what made me want to do a dialogue with her initially, because in our fractured time, our confusing and broken world in many ways, it's felt to me in my heart that one of the most important things to include in moving forward, if we're going to heal and integrate and discover a new whole, is the feminine dimension. And as I looked into it even more deeply, I discovered that Lucinda teaches yoga with Christ as the guru. And then when we started to have some discussions about that, she mentioned the feminine dimensions of Christ the guru, and how it's not necessarily a masculine entity or representation exclusively. So that and many other things, including how to include more by being less. As I was listening to our dialogue today and I came across that gem again, I just found it to be harmonious and wonderful, and I was very excited to talk with her then, and very excited she could join us tonight. So I just want to turn it over to you at this point and mention that it's open to the group for interaction and dialogue this evening. But welcome to Boulder.
Thank
and
you,
this is
Stuart.
John
This
as
is
well.
my
I don't want to
husband.
miss John as her husband, and they work together actually doing retreats throughout the year in North America and Italy, sort of splitting times between the continents.
Thank you, Stuart. Well, it seems it's quite extraordinary the way it works, because last time Stuart and I spoke to each other, I was lying on a sofa in my Tuscan and John and my Tuscan's farmhouse in this real late hour, because, you know, the time difference. And it was just very warm. I was alone at that time for quite a few weeks, so thank you, Stuart, and it was just very special. And we could have gone on all night, couldn't we?
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you talk about God. And that's what I'd particularly like to do. I've talked to Stuart about that, and he's in agreement that tonight we just talk about God, or God as known by you, as God is known by many names. And even when we say God, God is already limited, because God's beyond all form and all words and all titles. But we have to start somewhere, we have to go somewhere. So in our humanity we begin with the word God, or the divine, or spirit. And you can use any term you wish to, because it's God in you that's God, not God in me that's God for you. And Saint Dominic, I teach a lot of Italian saints as part of the pilgrimages there, and I love medieval spirituality, and Saint Dominic is one I don't know as well as Saint Francis or Saint Anthony or the other saints, but Saint Dominic said something very extraordinary, and he actually had it on the walls of his monasteries, which was talk to God or about God, talk only to God or about God. And I think that sort of sums it up for me, is that really there's nothing to say except if we say it to the divine, and if we talk about the divine with each other, somehow we're filled up, and all that thing about being intellectual or being loving, or all the split comes together, and suddenly we find that we are being intellectual, being wise, being loving, being present, being mindful, being filled, being excited, being amazed, being awed by being together and talking about God. So that's what I'd like us to do this evening.